Hey guys, this is MMA trainer and recording artist Mike Lee, and I'm in the hot zone.
What's up, everyone? I'm your guest host, Tara Bernstein. I'm here with Mike Lee, MMA trainer and recording artist, and you're here on the hot zone, so stay tuned for more. All right, Mike, so today we're going to talk about how MMA training and music has shaped your life today.
Phenomenal. I would love to talk about that.
Awesome. Okay, so how has training and music revolved around in your life so far today?
Wow. So I like to tell people that they both come from the same place. They're both artistic expression, art, as in mixed martial art. It's really it's like body shapes, but aggressive body shapes, and it comes from like a similar spiritual place. So they're both expression, and wow, I feel like thinking about that question. I think in the way that you've asked it and given me the opportunity to answer it from the same place, I think when I graduated college with a degree in English, and I wanted to go teach reading and writing. My first job was teaching reading and writing at a remedial level to boys who had failed out of the school system in my hometown in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I'm telling that all for a relevant reason, because I was teaching reading and writing to kids who struggled to read and write. One of the problems with struggling to read and write is that you lack the ability to process information that the world's communicating to you. And then you then also struggle to communicate your ideas to the world or express your ideas to the world. I feel like art, both singing and mixed martial arts, have given me an opportunity to express my feelings, both to interpret what's coming at me, what is happening in the world around me, and then to express myself not only through language, but through rhythm, through music, and then also through the art and sport of mixed martial arts that me and my family have come to love.
Wow, that is super impressive. 100%. I mean, it's so important, the whole English and writing and giving these kids the opportunity to even have the chance to learn that stuff. I mean, it's not easy. I tell people all the time, I'm like, my family comes from a Spanish background, and I'm like, Spanish is so easy compared to English. I'm like, I'm like, English is hard.
Yeah.
I was looking and I saw how the pandemic was able to, obviously it was super rough for everyone. It was a tough year, but it was able to, give you the time to really open up some new doors and opportunities for you. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I think that 2020 and 2021 have been years where people have either, in creative lanes. Let's think about music. A lot of musicians and those especially who focus on touring and emphasize touring in their creative model struggled because touring got shut down. If you didn't pivot and move yourself online to doing more online shows and those things, we just stopped playing music with people and meeting with people. So for me, the way that challenged me and gave me an opportunity to do was I pivoted and I just focused on being creative. I stayed at home with my friend and producer, Landon Bailey, and I wrote and I tracked. And the fun thing about that is kind of like in with most things in the pandemic was we slowed down. We didn't have a lot of aggressive timelines. We just took time to make music. And so that was a really fun part of the pandemic for me, was slowing down, just getting creative, emphasizing that. And that was new for me because I was so used to being on the road all the time, especially summer and winter are big touring months for us. And the flip side of that is when you think about mixed martial arts, we're talking about two areas of work that were affected greatly by the pandemic. Gyms got hit hard. 30% of all gyms, or maybe more than 30% of all gyms closed down altogether in the pandemic, and they won't reopen because of the kind of restrictions were put on them. So in that regard, we had to pivot, move our business online, really clean up our processes. And for us, since especially with the gym, we have more than tripled our business because of the progress that we made because of the strains that we were put under by the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, being able to monetize that time and really start to, work on things that are important, you get to reevaluate everything and see that you don't realize how much time that, every day there's something we can do. And by having a lot of time off to
Hmm.
really get, work on your craft, that definitely has helped a lot of people.
Well, it for us, one of the things that we found was going into the pandemic. We were in a place where I would say that music and the gym were probably 50-50 in terms of the split of what we did with our time. And when you talk about monetizing our time, we were probably a 50-50 split on those things. I really needed my income from music when we went into the pandemic. And so when I saw that I was cutting the winter tour in half for 2020, and then I wasn't going to tour at all in the summertime, there were some moments of like, okay, well, like, what are we going to do? It just so happened that we were able to really pivot with the gym and put ourselves in a place with music where we didn't really need coming back out now and starting to tour again this summer, just a little bit. We don't need the income from music. So that's freeing us up to do some special things that we want to do. For example, now with the proceeds of our music, we're looking to be more heavily involved in the country of Uganda, where we once owned a nonprofit and are now hopefully going to be doing more work there in Uganda.
Wow, that is amazing. And now I see you released your fifth studio project, Another Steps. Can you tell us more about that and how you're going to promote that?
Yeah, so that that EP is a compilation of songs that I wrote and released over the last 2 years with my friend Landon Bailey. Side note: anybody who's listening to the project and you're like, "Yo, this is dope," but you're finding that it has a retro vibe to it in comparison to some of the stuff that I did prior. My first full length release was a project called Worth It, mostly a pop project, and this has retro vibes. Listen, we're big Stranger Things fans, so we were sitting around hanging out and just like making music that we thought sounded cool, and so we ended up with this like very retro vibe project that from the opening of it, you can hear us fidgeting with a cassette tape, and you pop it in, and the first thing you hear is a song that you feel like you could just be driving down the road to, and all the way to the final reprise. And it opens up. There's a simple line that I wanted to be relatable. We use it in the intro and the outro, and it just says, "I want to feel you close in the places that I need you most. You are the air I breathe. You are my everything." And we emote that through the intro of the project and bring it back in the outro of the project. And that is to just put a simple line on what you should expect when you go into the project. And that is every time I write music, I write from a place of joy, but in the same place, sorrow is always with me, because my father, who passed away in July of 2015, is a big reason that I fell in love with music in the first place. So I always remember him when I write, and I always write memorial pieces for him. And so for me, music is about grief and healing and process and hope. And I hope that when you tune into the project, you can feel a real invitation for Jesus to come into the places of hurt and brokenness, but also you can have great mountaintop experiences of just celebrating and feeling good.
Wow, that was really, really amazing. And the fact that you're able to write so many songs about him and bring so many memories back. And I'm sure a lot of fans can relate to that too. I mean, when I listen to a song, I definitely listen to the lyrics thoroughly and find a way how I can relate to this.
That's cool. You know, we have in traveling on the road, one of the songs that people ask me most about, it's not from this project, but usually if I'm out playing live, I travel with a 5-piece band. I have a saxophone player who also does vocoder and electric guitars, and a drum. We will bring a really strong, like a cool vibe when we go play out. But one of my favorite parts of live sets is I will break down to just my acoustic guitar, and I'll usually walk people down kind of memory lane of songs I would listen to when riding in the passenger seat of my dad's van. And I wrapped that time up with playing a song that I wrote called Big White Horse. And if you have time to visit that song is 4.5 minutes of me trying to tell the story of my dad's life. And of every song that I play that I've written that's original, or if it's covered, that's the song that at the end of the day, people stand in a line to talk to me about, because I think it's refreshing to for people to stand in front of an artist and just be reminded that they're not alone. We have a good time when people go to a concert. We go there to have a good time at least, but we want to have our lives changed. And it certainly is life changing and transformational when you're standing there, and then the grief or the heartache that is on the back of your mind is brought forward, and you can look at somebody and say, man, I can relate with that person. I feel what they're feeling, and it's nice to know that we're not alone.
No, 100%. I mean, like, everybody definitely stay tuned and watch that song. 4 minutes of pure just authenticity. That's going to be amazing. I'm super excited to listen to it.
Awesome.
I saw you wrote a single Next to You about your wife for 11 years.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so you can see my wife is next to me. Yeah, Next to You is, man, that song was so fun to write. And just to like share the heart behind that, it's a song that is important to me because it's simple. It's simple. It's just telling a story of love that I think needs to be told. My wife and I do so much together. We run a gym together. She plays bass for me and sings. She manages when we travel. She really is the road manager. So we do so many things together, and I want to bring that forward because most of my audience that I travel and I see on weekends, or I spend weeks with on the summer, they're high school students or they're college students, or they're mostly they'll see me for 4 or 5 days in a controlled environment, whether it's a conference or it's a camp, and then they go home. And so there's this question of, if we spend this time, mountaintop time in worship, and then I go home, now I have these relationships and all these people around me. I believe that the number one place that we experience worship with the Lord is from a quiet place in our heart. And then we give him our time and our attention and our focus and all of our affections. But there's a requirement for not just how do I meet with him, but how do I meet with the world around me? And I want to put on display for kids who are following me, for them to know, like, dude, you can fall in love with a woman and marry her and have dreams, and you can chase those dreams for as long as you live. And so Next to You is a song that I hope it just feels fun. It's not over spiritualized. It's just literally, listen, my wife's awesome. I'm married an amazing woman, and we have dreams. She has dreams, and we've just run after those dreams together. We were once kids from out of high school who fell in love long distance. We went to college and came a little bit closer. We got married, and we were once people who had kids who seemed like we were way too young, 23 and 24 when we had kids, and we were supposed to stop chasing our dreams at that point. But we've continued to run and bring our kids into our dreams. And so we love our lives. And I'd say that not in just like an unrelatable sense, I hope, but we love chasing the dreams that are on our heart together. So Next to You is really an anthem, lifting that up and sharing that with people.
Wow, that is truly an inspiring story for everyone to hear and take advice from. It's been so amazing speaking to you, and you guys are going to have an amazing lunch. I'm so happy that you guys are out and about. It looks beautiful over there.
Thank you so much. This was cool to be a part of. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. Tell your wife I said have a good day too.
All right, I'll tell her.
Awesome. Bye.